Before you ask, where have you been? I know what you guys are about to ask. I know. Don't worry. I will address everything. I will tell you guys where I've been over the past couple of days. I've been very inactive, whether on this channel or my main channel or on my social medias, IG. I got a lot of messages, which I appreciate all of you guys. I've tried to respond to most of you guys, letting you guys know where I've been, X, Y, and Z. Most of you guys thought I was dead, which is kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. Come on, man. Come on, what? Wait, if I'm not here, who's going to do watch-alongs for you guys? Don't worry. I'll address everything later on today, where I will be doing, which a lot of you guys have asked, am I doing a Real Madrid-Liverpool watch-along, which I will be doing. I'll address everything on the watch-along today. As we always do on the second channel, we always talk about the preview and the predictions for most of the games. And I wasn't able to do this, yesterday, which I usually do on a Monday, the day before, because, I will address everything later today. But let's talk about it. A lot of games taking place today and tomorrow. Wait, today and tomorrow. Before we get any further, and please don't ask any questions today. Do that later on in the watch-along. Today's video is mainly about the predictions. So put down in the comments what your predictions are, your preview. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get this to 20K because the main channel got to 100K. Let's get this. Let's make it 120. You know what I mean? 120. Nah, 125 sounds a bit better. 125. Let's get this to 25K. Listen, the table at the moment looks very interesting. The table looks like it's expected with 5 of the big teams already there in Paris, Bayern, Inter, Arsenal, and Real Madrid. City not too far. Dortmund is there, of course. Newcastle, Barcelona, Liverpool, Chelsea are creeping up in the top 8, which means today's game is massive because after 4 games, teams needs to be in a good position because you kind of need 17 to 18 points to make it in top 8. And at the moment, if, of course, we're going to be talking about the matchup between these two. But if you're on 12 points already, then you're putting yourself in a very, very good position. 4 games in, 12 points with 4 games to go. You're putting yourself in a good position to pretty much make it through. Listen, today we've got Arsenal versus Slavia Prague. Let's just put in the bag. Arsenal looks unbeatable. Arsenal in the month of October, 0 goals conceded. Straight up, all W's. And even November, to start to start the new calendar, the new month, they still pick up a W with 0 goals conceded. Can anyone stop them? Can anyone score against them? Can anyone even have a shot on target against them? No, it doesn't look likely. Today, Slavia Prague, their run, I mean, what's Slavia Prague saying? I'm going to be real. I haven't been keeping up too much with Slavia Prague. Where are they in the table? Slavia Prague in the table. They drew against Bodo Glimt, which they bottled, actually. They were 2-0 up, if I'm not mistaken. They lost against Inter, and they drew against Atlanta away from them, which isn't a bad, to be fair. That's not a bad result. But I'm going to be real. If Slavia Prague scores today, voila, put some celebration. Let me go to Prague. The world is coming over, fam. If Arsenal concede a goal, it's long because Arsenal so far this season in the Champions League, 3 games, 3 W's, 0 goals conceded, 8 goals, I think. Yeah, 8 goals. They look unbeatable. So I predict Arsenal to win as usual. I predict a 2-0 win. Napoli, Frankfurt. Listen, Napoli, it hasn't been a good journey in the Champions League. Antonio Conte, Champions League, you know what time it is. It's crumble time. He crumbles. Frankfurt, despite picking up that massive win against Gala in game week 1, the last 2 game weeks, they've been taking massive L's, especially losing to Liverpool, who at that point was going through a lot of crisis, a lot of injuries, a lot of players not performing well. So losing to Liverpool 5-1, I know with the players they have on the table, you should have lost to them because Liverpool were low confident. Napoli at home, I do expect them to win this game, and I do expect them by the end of game week 4 to be on 6 points because they've, out of 3 games, they've only picked up 1 W. So I do expect this game, this is where they're going to win, and I think Napoli will win this game. Atleti has been on a good wave. Atleti has been on a good form, winning the last two in the Champions League, of course, losing to Liverpool in game week 1. But even the league, they're creeping up. They went from 7th, 8th in the league to now top 4, I believe, in La Liga. And they beat Seville over the weekend with 3-0. So I do expect Atleti to win this game. It's not going to be a massive win, but I do expect them to win because Union, they won the first game, but the last 2 game weeks, they've been taking hella L's. Bodo Glimt against Monaco. Monaco, listen, they were going well. They were going well with the former manager. They sacked him out of nowhere. Ansu Fati scored 5 goals in a row, like 5 games in a row with him. They sacked him in the last 5 games. Like Ansu Fati scored 0 goals, fam. Pogba, I've seen the news. Apparently, he had another knock or another sort of setback in training, and his return date looks to be very uncertain. Like, no one knows when he's going to be back. Bodo Glimt, I can't lie. They should have beaten Spurs. They drew at home to Spurs, but they should have beaten Spurs. I kind of look at this game, yeah. It's an interesting game. It's a very interesting game because both teams at the moment, they're both in that little position where they want to pick up the first W, and they want to, of course, get that little automatic playoff because, listen, if you're still here after game week 4, it's looking long. I'm going to be real. I do expect in this game, I expect Bodo Glimt to do a surprise. No. I expect Monaco to win. I expect Monaco to win. I do think Monaco will win this game. Juve against Sporting. Of course, Juve, ever since they sacked Tudor and they hired a new manager, they've won 2 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they have. They won. They beat Udinese, and they, of course, beat Cremonese. Today, Champions League, of course, the last game against Real Madrid, they did well. They lost 1-0. I do expect Juve to carry the momentum which they have at the moment ever since they sacked Tudor, which should have been ages ago. So I do expect Juve to win this game. Then we have, of course, the biggest game week off Tuesday. I think out of this game and the next game, which I'll talk about, let's leave this one after we speak about, you know what, that's not to speak about. Olympiacos, PSV, not much to talk about. I expect PSV to win this game. I think they've done, after beating Napoli last week, 6-1, I expect them to carry the momentum. And Spurs against Copenhagen, Spurs must win because Thomas Frank at the moment is going through a rough patch. He's barely been winning. The Spurs fans are not happy with him. They're not happy with his performance. The last game against Chelsea, at home, you've got an XG of 0.05. Not even 0.5, 0.05. You've got 1 shot on target in 90 minutes against Chelsea, who has been conceding a lot of goals. That is so bad for Spurs. So I do expect them to win this game. Now let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about one thing. UEFA, why the hell are you putting Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain on the same day, fam? Why can't you put Paris Saint-Germain Bayern on Wednesday? Because there's no massive games on Wednesday. Why are you putting them both on the same day? Don't you guys want to make some money? If you guys want to make some money, fam, why are you putting 2 of the biggest games in the same day, fam? Makes 0 sense. 0 zero sense, fam. You put them on the same day, bro. Howler from a TV rights point of view, from a money standpoint. Howler. Let's talk about Paris Saint-Germain before we get to, of course, Liverpool, Real Madrid, which for me is the biggest game. Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern, they are currently the 2 of the biggest teams, 2 of the best teams in the world right now. Bayern, of course, we all know, they haven't lost, they haven't drawn. They are on a massive winning streak throughout this competition. The greatest streak we've ever seen in the top 5 leagues ever. Like, company, the way he's managed to build this team, even with the likes of no Alphonso Davies and no Jamal Musiala, which doesn't get talking about. Like, he doesn't have 2 of his best players, but he's still able to pick up W's in every single game. The argument against, like, I'm playing devil advocate right now. The arguments against him could be, well, he's doing it in a league which, quote-unquote, is kind of easy, which again, and at the same time, he really hasn't had a massive game except for Dortmund, but it's Dortmund and Chelsea, but it's Chelsea. There hasn't been a massive standout game which I look at Bayern and say, oh, you know what, fair play, fam. But then, I'm playing who's in front of me. So I'm playing, everyone that I'm playing in front of me, I'm smacking them by 3 or 4 goals, fam. I've scored already over 45 goals, 50 goals already, and we're in November. Harry Kane is already in over 20 GAs. Ulis is having a great season. Luis Diaz is scoring a lot of goals ever since he signed. Gnabry is having a remontada. Kimmich is playing very well. Everyone is playing well for Bayern Munich. Then you've got Paris Saint-Germain, who the last three league games, to be fair, Strasbourg, they drew. Lille, they drew. And even last game, which I think they beat Nice last game. They needed a last second. Sorry, not Lille, Lorient. They drew, and of course, this game they needed a last 94th minute from Gonzalo Ramos to win that game. So as of Paris Saint-Germain, they've had a lot of injury crises. Like start of the season, Dembele was out, Marquinhos was out, Dubé was out, Kvara was out. Three midfield pairing, and Fabio Ruiz, Vitinha, Juan Neves went out. Now, all of them are now slowly, gradually back into the starting 11. Now, they don't have a massive injury, except for, of course, Fabio Ruiz, who's out, and Dubé, who's out, of course. I'm going to be so real. This is the game which I'm going to be judging Bayern massively. With all due respect, Bayern, all the winning games and all the games that you've won and you've convinced and you've done well, bro, this is the game. Like, I've said it even in my last video, in my round 3, the game week 3 review, after they won the third game. I said, listen, the 2 games which I'm going to look at Bayern massively, or even the top 10 leaderboard where I do every month of clubs. I said the next month, they've got 2 massive games. They've got this game, and they've got the game against Arsenal coming up end of the month. This is the 2 games which I'm going to be judging Bayern massively, because I want to know where they stand. Like, listen, we've seen in the past where teams do well in the league, but when they come against big teams in the Champions League, they crumble. They don't perform well. Bayern now are in this position where, let's see, the whole world is watching. Are you able to beat, for me, the top 3 best teams in the world? Is Bayern, Paris Saint-Germain, which we're seeing now, today, and Arsenal, which they're going to be playing next game. If you beat Paris Saint-Germain away from home, and if you beat Arsenal away from home, then I'm going to be looking at him like, you know what? You might have your favorites. Vincent Kompany, fair play. Harry Kane, Ballon d'Or, fair play. Luis Diaz, great signing, fair play. I'm going to be looking at Bayern massively. But I'm going to be real, despite all of this, the winning streak for Bayern, I expect Paris Saint-Germain to win this game. I do think Paris Saint-Germain, like defensively, the times that I watch Bayern, I'm not convinced a lot by Jonathan Tah. Like, Jonathan Tah has been a liability, and most of the goals which they concede has been from his side, and of course, that left-hand side, which isn't the greatest. Lima, a ball over the top, he's been very good. Lima, I think he's created a lot of chances, but defensively, you can go against him. And Paris Saint-Germain, they've got 3 of the best players. Dembele I expect to start today. Like, I do expect without Doué, yes, Dembele will start. I do think Paris Saint-Germain will this game. And then we, of course, have the other biggest game, which is Liverpool versus Real Madrid. The game which, I mean, the whole world is talking about. Of course, a lot of storylines. Last time we went to Anfield, we lost 2-0, which was last year. Trent being back into the squad potentially could play. Real Madrid are on a crazy run at the moment. Liverpool, yes, they beat Aston Villa. They finally won a game in the Premier League, but they've been very hit and miss this season. You should, like, let's be real. Over the past 3 months, there's been 2 expectations for this game. When the game got announced and the draw got announced, everyone had Liverpool winning this game. I had Liverpool winning this game. After Atleti, I still had Liverpool winning this game. But over the past month, Liverpool struggling, barely winning a game. I've got Real Madrid winning. And now, bro, there is no way, and I look at Xabi Alonso this game. Again, Anfield is difficult. I know it's difficult. I know it's not easy to go to Anfield. However, Liverpool have shown over the past 7 to 8 games, they've shown how bad defensive they are, how bad the fullbacks are, the amount of space which I see from the defense to the midfield, and the attacking trio is not hitting. It's not hitting great form except for Ekitike. Most of the players haven't been great. The only players which I look at who's been above average, Ekitike, Virgil van Dijk, and Szoboszlai. The rest of the players, Alexis been bad. Gravenberch's been not the best. Salah's not been great. The fullbacks has been cheeks. Gakpo, Konate recently, okay, but start the season very poorly. George in the goal. Like, Liverpool, they can't win this game. And Real Madrid, you have to win this game because we don't have massive injuries. So I look at Real Madrid. So far, we lost against Atleti. We beat Barcelona. We should have beaten Barcelona by a big margin. Yes, I didn't do the watch along. I didn't do the review for the last game against Valencia, but that was the best game of the season. That was our best game of the season. Our best game by far of the season. So I look at this game and I look at Real Madrid and I do expect to win. And again, I will talk a lot more about the lineups and the matchups and what we expect more in the watch along, which I'll be doing on my main channel, of course, as always. But as of right now, Real Madrid win this game. That's my early prediction. Then we have the next day. Villarreal, Pavos has been convincing. I think they've barely won this game. Even though I think they've scored the best goal, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it, but they've scored the best goal of the whole Champions League, in my personal opinion. The goal against Bayern Munich, incredible. Like, check the goal they scored. Their early goal against Bayern. What a crazy goal that was. Villarreal, I expect to win. Karabakh against Chelsea. Karabakh has been very good. Karabakh has been very, very good. Yes, they lost the last game, but they've been very convincing so far. But I do expect Chelsea. To be fair, I can't lie. This one is not easy, but I expect Chelsea to win. Ajax, Gala. Ajax has been so bad to watch. I expect Gala to continue the momentum and, of course, win this game. Benfica, Leverkusen. And Jose and Benfica will finally pick up the first 3 points of the Champions League. So I expect Benfica to win. Club Brugge, Barcelona. This is a big game, of course, for Barcelona. They won last game against Elche. Club Brugge, where are they in the table? Rather than doing this, let me just do this. Where's Club Brugge in the table? Club Brugge. Club Brugge are currently they won the first game against Monaco, but they lost against Atalanta, they lost against Bayern Munich, which is no shame, to be fair, to lose against Bayern Munich. But I do expect, I can't lie. This one I can't lie. This one might be tricky. This one is not going to be easy on paper, you know. I do expect this to be tricky for Barca. I expect this to be a draw. I think this might be a draw, you know. Inter against Cairo, I expect Inter to win this game massively. Then you've got C against Dortmund. Great game because both teams are currently both in the top 8 position. And, of course, a win there would put them in a very great position with 10 points after 4 games. City has been on a very good form with Haaland scoring almost every game. Turkey has been amazing. I expect City to win this game. Then we have Marseille against Atalanta. I expect Marseille to continue the form which they're at the moment. I think they lost the last league game, if I'm not mistaken. I think they did. No, they won. My bad. They beat. This game against. They should have won this game. Bro, they were leading about 2-1 with 98 minutes to go, and they conceded. Marseille at the moment in the league are doing very well. I think they're second or third in the league. But Marseille, big up to Marseille, and even the Champions League at the moment. The Champions League, they are. To be fair, okay. I forgot they lost this game. I forgot. I thought they won against Sporting. But I remember they scored. It was 1-0 up, but they had a man send off. I think Emerson got sent off that game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then they conceded 2 goals. This one, I'm going to be real. I expect Marseille to win this game. And lastly, you got Newcastle against Bilbao. Bilbao picked up a massive 3-point last game against Karabakh. But Newcastle has been on a very good form recently. And I expect that to continue. Of course, they beat Benfica. They beat Union, and I expect them to beat Bilbao. And for them to be on 9 points after 4 games, which is not bad, to be fair, for Newcastle. So I do expect Newcastle to win this game. But these are my predictions in terms of watch-alongs. Before you guys ask, I will be doing a watch-along, of course, today. Real Madrid and Real Madrid and Liverpool, and, of course, tomorrow, Club Brugge against Barcelona. Sorry again, I will tell you guys why I was absent and everything on the watch-along later on today, which I'll be going live around 7:15, 7 p.m. Make sure you tune in to watch-along. Love for all the messages. Appreciate everyone getting in touch, getting concerned. I do appreciate all like the appreciation that you guys have been showing over the past couple of days, ever since I get 100K as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you later on today with Real Madrid versus Liverpool with a lot more breakdown and a lot more preview. Peace.